The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Tuesday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends of Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you always know where to go. If you are in the market for a new or used vehicle, make sure to check out Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. We'll continue that on this wonderful Tuesday afternoon. We got a great show for you today. We're going to, of course, recap the great action that happened last night. Had a little bit of everything, a little bit of boys soccer, a little bit of girls soccer, a little bit of good non-conference volleyball action. I'm going to recap it all. We're also going to have a player profile feature like we try to do every day. On the show, we have Zayd Atway, one of the senior leaders of the Canfield boys soccer team that is having a tremendous season as well. It's soccer time in Canfield. You'll have one loss combined between the two teams, Canfield and boys and girls. So their soccer programs are definitely living high right now, and we'll be able to feature three of their seniors throughout the rest of the next couple of days with Zayd Atway starting today with a great interview with him from Canfield boys soccer. But before we get to all that, let's hop in to the scoreboard like we always do and check out what went on yesterday and yesterday's action. Going to full screen it for you here and remind you that the YSN scoreboard is always presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. This is a great tool for our YSN fans, whether you're at a game in person or you're watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you probably don't want to look at your phone for forever trying to look for scores. So one simple place where you go to get it, ysnlive.com/scores, and it is live updated every night, so you don't have to wait until midnight when the finals start coming in. These are live updated scoreboard, and it is brought to you by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's dive into the scores from Monday. We'll start with volleyball, and like always, we will do the first three rows, and then we'll skip over to the last one. Pymatuning Valley, they drop one to Fairport Harding, 3-0, the final score there. And Jackson Milton falls to Ursuline 3-1, but very important day for Jackson Milton because their libero Grace Johns notches her 1,000th career dig. She's a junior, so that's pretty dang impressive that she's able to do that before her senior season even starts. She might get 1,500 digs by the end of her career if she has a good senior season and a good end to her junior campaign. Jackson Milton's starting to put a few things together. You're starting to see them be a little bit more competitive. We saw last week they went and they got a big win, an upset win, and now pretty competitive against a very good Ursuline team. So very tough season for Jackson Milton on the results side, but you're starting to see them get better as the year progresses, which is everything that a coach wants to hear about their team. I think if a coach ends the season and they have, 2, 3, 4 wins, but they hear it, get to play them twice, say your team has gotten a lot better from when you started, and we have grown a lot. I think, especially at the high school level, when your job security is not completely dependent on wins and losses, I think you will take that and you will tip your hat to that season, and you'll continue to work towards the next year. Because if you can just say, hey, we're getting better, we're growing, we're trusting the process, we're putting the work in, we're getting better. And Jackson Milton, I think clearly on the volleyball floor is starting to put a couple of things together and becoming more of a solid unit definitely as the season goes on. East Liverpool came down to Salem, and they get the win in straight sets over the Quakers. Potters are putting together a very, very great season as well. Indian Creek, they take down Edison in a sweep, 3-0 the final score there. Ashtabula St. John, they continue to win no matter what. See what I did there? They beat Chalker in straight sets last night. East Palestine and Cheney do it battle. And it's the Bulldogs getting the win over the Cowboys. Final score there was 3-0, a straight set victory for East Palestine. We have Hubbard getting the narrow victory over Brookfield, 3-2 your final score. One of the big competitive games of the evening. Excuse me, there, had to get a little bit of a drink. But we go and continue on. Lowville gets the win in Liberty, 3-1 the final score there. The Rockets get a big win in the Cross MVAC tier game. How about Poland? Big win for the Bulldogs. This is their first win against a team that's not Niles. They go into the jungle and beat 9-win Springfield. Big one for the Bulldogs in 5 sets, 3-2 the final score there. Olivia Meinhardt putting together a solid season despite not the results on the wins and losses for the Bulldogs. Meinhardt starting to put together big numbers this year for Poland. And she had a big game against Springfield. How about Hoban? Man, they had no trouble at all with 15-1 Berlin Highland coming into the castle, as they call it, Barry Gymnasium in Archbishop Hoban, and it was never even in doubt who the better team was. Hoban put their foot straight into the ground and said, 15-1, thank you, next. And that's what they'll do. They'll work on the next one. Hoban is now 17-0 on the season. Toronto comes into Wellsville, handles the Tigers in straight sets. Want to talk about this one. Columbiana and Heartland. Boy, did we get a thriller. The Lions really fought extra hard against the Clippers. They wanted this one bad. And you could tell maybe the Clippers fell a little bit into that trap of overlooking. They have Wellsville this week, obviously on Thursday. And they're so close to a league title, they can taste it. They're right there. But the Lions came in and gave them a heck of a fight. Now, Columbiana still gets the win in 4 sets, so they're not, hurting their undefeated record. But the Lions really gave them all they could handle. These set scores: 28-26 Columbiana in set 1, 26-24 Columbiana in set 2, and then set 3 was a Heartland win, 26-24. Set 4, Columbiana put it away. They kind of took advantage of a little bit of fatigue on Heartland's side, and they won 25-18. But those first 3 sets all went into extra points. And if things bounced Heartland's way in that first or second set, and they're up 2-1 or 2-0, then my word, you're putting a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure on a Columbiana team that is looking to win the EOAC for the first time in a while. We'll see. They have Lisbon tonight, and they'll go to Wellsville on Thursday. But they do escape the Purple Palace with a win there. We'll continue going on first 3 columns, and then we'll scroll over to the last one if you're just now joining us. Girls soccer action last night. Badger gets the win over Bristol, 8-1 the final score there. How about Brookfield? They get the win over Garrettsville Garfield. Big win for the Warriors, 3-0 the final score there. And the Springfield Tigers win the Battle of the Tigers, 7-2 the final score in Newton Falls. Springfield gets the W. South Range, an important win for their program moving forward. They need to see something positive happen. They get the 1-0 win over Struthers at home. Hubbard gets the 9-1 loss. I'm sorry, I thought that was a 0. I was like, that's going to be a big upset. No, it's a 9. Poland gets the 9-1 win over Hubbard to continue their onslaught in the 88. we have Girard and Lakeview, which was not reported. And then we go down to Champion and Waterloo, 6-0. Champion gets the win. Their offense still rolling on all cylinders. Their goal differential is now above 80, I believe, on the season. So they're definitely dominant this year. Boardman and Fitch draw with a 0-0 score. Canfield gets all they can handle from Howland, 2-1. They have to pull out the victory, and they clinch at least a share of the AAC in that win. But Canfield definitely got tested. Their undefeated streak definitely was put to the test against the Tigers, but they were up for it as they win that game. We'll scroll down to boys soccer, and we will tell you that Jackson Milton got the win over Garrettsville Garfield, 2-1. They're still undefeated on the year. Good job by Jackson Milton, their boys soccer team, quietly but surely having a tremendous season. Crestview's boys soccer got the monster win over Camel, 11-0, the final score there. LeBray beats Liberty 2-0. And last but not least, Champion boys soccer beats Middle Ridge 2-1. Now let's hit the scroll bar and go all the way over to the right side of the scoreboard. Scroll back up and we'll get volleyball first. And we had a doozy in Girard. I was in Girard for this one. I want to talk about it a little bit in depth. West Branch came out and really put a lot of pressure on Girard. Girard was in this game without Brie Littell, could not play in this game. A little minor injury. She might be back tonight, but she'll definitely be back on Thursday, as they're hoping to make sure that injury is very not severe and doesn't get worse, but was unable to play against West Branch. So things had to change for Girard, right? They had to change a little bit of rotation. They had to put someone in there for Brie Littell. It was Erica Teeter that kind of took that spot as the outside hitter. But then, you start to figure things out on the fly, right? West Branch came in, won the first two sets. And quite frankly, it was handily. And partially because Girard looked sloppy. Like, Girard was making uncharacteristic, unforced errors that were just letting it, spiral. And West Branch won the first two sets pretty easily. I think it was 25-15, 25-18, if I'm not mistaken. Then Girard comes back, right? They say, okay, let's calm down a little bit. Let's stop making those unforced errors. And then they switch things around a little bit too. I mean, they got Bailey Walters hitting a little bit more. She was actually a hitter in this game. I know usually the setter, but she kind of ran a 6-2 this rotation. So she was an outside hitter when she was in the front row. She started to get going. She had 13 kills, which is a season high for sure. But one of the big moments of the game was when Nico Cochran just took over. They needed it. They needed every ounce of her that they could get last night. She had to be the number one scorer. And you're going to ask her of that next year when she's a senior and Brie Littell's gone. So this was kind of a glimpse into Girard's future of what they can be. And with Bailey Walters coming back next year as a senior and Nico Cochran coming back next year as a senior. So you kind of got a glimpse into the future, what it's going to look like without Brie Littell. And there was a moment in that match where Cochran just said, hey, I'm the one that has to step up. I have to get our team over the hump right now. She finished with 26 kills, and it was the toughest 26 kills you'll ever see. Like, there was a point in the match where every swing, she was grabbing her shoulder. She was having definite issues. Pain in that shoulder was bothering her, but she grinded through it, and she got through it. Post-game interview, she said, I have always been the person that is never going to let pain stop me, and I'm going to grind through it if I can. And, man, she just showed absolute toughness to grind through that pain and become the player that they needed her to be that night. Also want to give a shout out to Alexis Ppint, who got a tremendous 7 kills and a couple of blocks for Girard. She was another girl that had to step up. They had to have some, some other offense outside of Nico Cochran, and Ppint did a really good job. And then Brooke Perry also stepping up. These secondary players that might be quote-unquote role players in normal situations, but had to be a little bit of a bigger role last night. Brooke Perry stepped up and played excellent net defense. You had Oleski come in and be a setter for for part of the 6-2 offense when Bailey was in the front row hitting. You just had a lot of change, and I think Gerard, after the first 2 sets when they were trying to get their bearings a little bit, really stepped up in the next 3. And then the 4th set, especially, guys, this 4th set was 30-28 in Gerard. It was just one of those ones. It was a marathon. Neither team was giving up an inch. They were both diving for balls. And Gerard came out on top and then went up and won the 5th set 15-8. So congratulations to Gerard. You showed a lot of grit. And like I said, a little bit of a preview into what Gerard can look like next year. Now, on West Branch's side, I want to give a big shout out to Reagan Greenison. She is so fun to watch as a libero. If you have not seen West Branch play live, go watch her play defense. It is a clinic on how to be in the right position, how to move well as a libero, and then how to put your body on the line to get balls that no one else is going to get. She does everything right for a libero. I didn't see her make any glaring mistakes last night that were like, oh my gosh, she should have moved there, or she should have been in the right position, or nothing like that. She was just as close to perfect as you can be for a libero. That's what Reagan Greenison was, and it was so fun to watch her play defense and West Branch really play well. This is the first time I got to see them live, and they do have a strong offense. They're definitely missing Brunner. Brunner was just a monster for them last year. You don't replace a player like that, Claire Brunner, who was just tremendous for West Branch. He was their offense, right? So they're still trying to find, I think, one girl that gets into that takeover mode like Nico Cochran did for Gerard. I think they're a pretty balanced offense, but they don't have that one that we're going to go to consistently when she finds a rhythm. They might get to that. They might get to that point. Michaelin Fitz led them with kills. She had 19, and a lot of them were just smart kills. Like, forget about hitting the ball as hard as you can. It was just, hey, the block's there. I'm tall enough to just kind of dink it over the block, and Gerard's defense playing a little bit back because I am powerful, and I have proven on the film that I can hit it hard. But this was a smart night for Michaelin Fitz, just putting it in the right placement. And Olivia Showalter, too, for West Branch. A lot of kills, just kind of pushing it to that corner and putting it in the right spot. So really impressed with West Branch. They unfortunately give up that 2-set lead, but they're going to try to bounce back in the last 2 weeks of the regular season. The draw is this weekend. So tonight is the last night that will count towards voting. Will count towards voting as far as the records that you submit to the coaches that are voting around the district. And that in turn answers a lot of questions that I've had, by the way, that basketball is going to be based on max preps to do the seeding, but volleyball is still going to be old school, still going to be coaches submitting their records and voting on the seeds, and then the seeds will be drawn into the bracket on Sunday. So max preps is only happening for basketball as far as seeding the teams based on their rankings. Let's go into the rest of volleyball. Crestview gets the sweep over Cardinal Mooney, and it was a double-double for Abby Emsch, and Grace Howard had her normal day, 14 kills for her, 15 assists. It was just a normal day at the office for Crestview. Domination, everybody getting into the stat column and getting a win over Cardinal Mooney. South Range puts up a fight against Western Reserve, but the Blue Devils up for the task. They win in 4 sets. Don't sleep on Wyndham. They have 14 wins on the season now. They win over Bloomfield in straight sets down in Wyndham. We go to girls soccer, this last column. We see that United beat Beaver Local 6-2, the final score there. And congratulations to United's goalkeeper, Katie Dees, who is now the record holder in the program for most saves in a career. So congratulations to her. And then last, in the girls soccer, we have Cardinal Mooney getting the 5-0 win over Niles. It's a good Niles team, so it's a big win for Cardinal Mooney on the road to go and get that 5-0 win. We go into boys, and the only one we didn't get to on the first 3 rows was Badger getting the win over Bristol, 7-4, the final score there. So that'll do it for Monday's look at the scoreboard and all the action that happened last night. Like I said, a little bit of everything, some volleyball, some soccer on both sides. Mondays are fun that way. Tuesdays and Thursdays are usually loaded up with a lot more volleyball, and that's what we're going to talk about later on in the show. We'll queue up what's going to be happening tonight, where your announcers will be, and whatnot. But first, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll have a player profile featured with Zayd Atway from Canfield Boys Soccer. Don't go anywhere on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
The feeling when my hands are on the piano, it's become comforting. It's somewhere that I can express myself. I go to Youngstown State University and my passion is playing music. YSU is allowing me to take what I love and turn it into a career and do it every single day of my life. I'm Alyssa and I'm YN proud.
My guy keeps it 100% of the time. He wants all 100, won't settle for 99. And it's more than stats, because there's people in those numbers. And I was one of the lost sheep. I'm so glad he cares for all 100. I'm 100% safe, 100% free, 100% love. I can be 100% me. He gave all 100 when they put him up on that tree. That's 100% passion for 100% free. So if I play in front of 100, or if I play in front of 2, there's an audience of 1 getting 100% of what I can do.
And welcome back to Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you so you don't have to, and we try to do the same here on this show every single day. We're going to do that with you here with a player profile from Canfield Boys Soccer. It is going to be Zaid Atway from Canfield, one of the great senior leaders of this team, and had a great conversation with Zaid about just being a senior, being a leader, and what it's meant to be a part of this Canfield group. They have definitely excelled on the soccer pitch. Between boys and girls soccer at Canfield, the Cardinals have just one loss on the year, blemishing their record. So the Canfield soccer program on both sides is experiencing a ton of success. We talked to head coach Mike Bailey before the season. He previewed it. I don't think he's shocked in the slightest that these boys are doing what they're doing. And we had a chance to speak with a couple of them, and we'll start by featuring Zaid Atway, player profile from Canfield Boys Soccer. Definitely hope you enjoy this one on Running Point. Brought to you, as always, by Greenwood. This interview is brought to you by Coco's Pizza. Anthony Hartwig here, a Canfield Boys Soccer player profile. I am joined by Zaid Atway. Zaid, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks for having me.
And this Canfield soccer program that has a lot of tradition. My first question for you to start this off is, what's it like to kind of hold the tradition of the soccer program? You're having a lot of success this year as well. What's it been like to kind of see where you guys have been as a program and to even expand on it this season?
You know, it's an amazing program to be a part of. Every single thing, all my 4 years, it's a good program. We got high standards every single year. Our goal every year is to achieve those goals and meet the standards that we have set for ourselves. So
you talk about a high standards. What are some standards that you hold yourself accountable for, especially this your senior year? What kind of things did you set in place that say, I want to make sure I'm doing this night in, night out?
Some of the goals I have set for myself is just being a leader on and off the field, making sure that everybody is doing their part on the field, including myself. In order for us to have a good season, is we all have to hold ourselves accountable and do our job.
Having to be a leader was no surprise this year. You're a senior. Leadership kind of comes with being a senior. What kind of things did you do to prepare to take that step up in leadership and take more responsibilities on your shoulders?
Kind of just training is a big thing. Training in the off season and during the season, I have to hold myself accountable in order to have a good season on the field. So training is a big thing. Making sure that I'm obviously comfortable and everybody around me is as well. So.
A lot of seniors on this team, but also there's a lot of new faces. The numbers are big, basically, in Canfield soccer. What do you seniors, the group of seniors that you have, do to make sure that the new kids and the people that are coming into the varsity program feel comfortable and make sure that they're put in the best position to succeed?
We're a very close team, all of us, from JV to varsity. We all treat each other like brothers. It's nothing. It doesn't matter which team you're on. So we welcome everybody. It doesn't matter what grade you're in, but if you're transferring from a different school, even we're all very close with each other, which helps in the fact of just everybody being comfortable with one another.
Chemistry is something that every team tries to get, but not every team can. What are some of the most important things that make Canfield soccer so tight-knit and so good with team chemistry?
A lot of us have been playing together for almost our whole lives, which that chemistry is, it's there from the beginning. And then all the new guys coming in, like I said, we do a lot of team bonding off the field as well. We all hang out together outside of practice and games, which just brings the chemistry in. We're all comfortable with one another, like I said earlier. And that's the type of stuff that you really need to have a successful season and a successful team.
You've been playing with these guys for a long time, like you said, and we've talked about how much that means to you guys off the field with chemistry. What about on the field? What kind of edge does that give you, having such a bond with these guys and playing with them for so long? You almost know what they're going to do before even having to watch them do it.
Yeah, like you said, it's just knowing what these guys are going to do, especially like my back line. I've played a lot of those guys, so I know what they're thinking, and we're all connected. Connection's a big thing. Moving the ball, playing with one another, moving off the ball. We know our next move, which is the biggest thing.
With these player profiles, we usually don't talk about the singular game, but we have to because you guys had a really big win this year. Howland hadn't lost a conference game since 2018. You guys end that streak. What did that mean to you? You know, you fought Howland for 4 years as a Canfield Cardinal. You finally get to them, and it was the defense. It was your back line that you just brought up that was really the difference maker, not letting Howland score. What did that win mean for this team?
It was an amazing win. I mean, like you said, I haven't beaten Howland in my 4 years, and they're a great team, no doubt about it. So being able to go onto their home field, beat them at their place, it felt amazing for everybody. And the back line, we did our job. Same with our offense, our midfield. We all play together, which is the biggest thing. We all play for one another that game, I was proud of all the boys.
Some teams get a win like that. They get high after it, and then they can't find themselves back even for the next game. Didn't happen for you guys. What was the key to celebrating that victory, but then not letting it kind of turn into to a monster and getting ready for the next game?
We focused on one game at a time. We beat Howland. We had training the next day. We focused in, had a good training session. We had to stay even. That's one of our coaches' sayings, and we really take that in when it comes to games and winning those big games.
Let's talk about you off the field a little bit. You're a student athlete at Canfield. What are some of your favorite subjects in the school system?
I'm a big science guy. It's probably my favorite subject in the school. Just all the science classes that I've taken so far have been of my interest, all of them.
Who are some teachers that have really impacted your scholastic journey over the course of your career at Canfield?
My English teacher that I've had for a few years now, Mr. Rourke, he was been one of my favorite teachers. He's an English teacher, but just he's been there for me since my sophomore year. So
when you talk about the school system and all the teachers you just mentioned and the students you have to spend every day with, you get to represent them every night by putting that jersey on. What does that mean to you to represent this Canfield community?
It means a lot to me. Not everybody gets to do it. So the fact that I get to put a jersey on, play on the field, represent my family and the community behind me, it means a lot. And I just know that I have to hold myself and the team up to high standards and represent them well.
We see soccer consistently growing and growing and growing by the years, and you've obviously seen that. What's it mean to you as someone that has put so much time into this sport to see more and more programs pop up, more and more kids get involved in the sport, and see the sport grow at such a high rate?
It's an amazing feeling knowing that soccer is still on the uprise and continuing to grow throughout this community. I mean, even all my friends are starting to get more into soccer. Everybody, they're hearing more about it through all these social media and these big games and everybody. It's very nice to see soccer getting more recognition around the community.
Let's talk about your soccer journey. Obviously, you've been playing it for a while. You have to love the sport to put as much time in it as you do. What's your soccer love story? When did you fall in love with the sport? What kind of things got you into it?
I got into the sport probably when I was around 6 years old. I've had my cousins, all my family members played it, so I got into it through them. Just playing, started in the backyard. Then I started going to Canfield competitive and club soccer through TCSC, which really helped grow me as a player. And that was where I fell in love with the sport.
We brought up Coach Bailey and his save and mindset that he's taught us about so much. What's it been like to be coached by him? He just got his 100th career win last night, so you guys got him that. What's it been like to be under Coach Bailey and to be coached by him?
He's an amazing coach. Him coming into our program last year was really a big change for our program, I believe. He brought in his tactics, which have worked out for us very well. He's a great guy as well. Good coach. He's there for us on and off the field, which is really something that you need in a coach. So,
what part of your game do you think has grown the most under his tutelage in the last 2 years?
I think that the communication part of my game has grown thanks to him. He stresses that communication makes or breaks a team, and I completely agree with that. So him stressing to me about the fact of communication to the back line and just making sure everyone has a man and everything like that. That's probably the biggest part of my game that has grown because of him.
You're a senior, which means we have to talk about your future as well after high school. What are some of your future aspirations, future plans for yourself after you graduate from Canfield?
I'm still undecided on where I'm going to attend college, but that's the goal. I'm planning on majoring in a business finance major. Like I said, still undecided, still working on that. But yeah, college is definitely the route.
When you think business, finance, and that kind of thing that you're interested in, what drove you to those interests? What kind of things put you in that career path?
A lot of my family members majored in business and that path and have grown to own their own businesses and operate in that side of the field, which really just seeing them do that and be successful in that path really drove me to it. And yeah.
If you were to own your own business, what's like your dream business to own? What kind of things would you want to put out there as your business? What kind of things do you come to mind?
Honestly, I've like some of my uncles that, like I said, have drove me towards this path. They own plazas and many complexes, which is kind of a variety of things, which is something that would interest me, just as it's not set into one thing and selling one thing. So that's probably something that I would end up leaning towards.
I love the big goal. I don't want to own one thing. I want to own multiple things. I want to own a freaking plaza. I love it. Let's talk about, you said undecided as far as where you want to go for college, but I'm sure there are some things that interest you about if you want to travel a lot, if you want to stay close to home. What kind of things are you looking for in a college when you're making that decision?
Obviously, campus is a big thing, making sure I enjoy the school, being there, even when I'm not learning, just being on the campus and being able to enjoy my time there. Staying close, that's kind of a big thing. I don't want to go too far, but I'm not opposed to having to travel as well.
All right, Zaid, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to shout out your support system, all the people that have your back. I want you to take as much time as you want to give as many shout outs as you need to.
Well, I just want to thank, obviously, my family and my friends, my teachers, the whole school, the whole community. You guys are there for me and the team, no matter what, and we all appreciate that. So they're really going to be a big reason to our season this year. So.
All right, Zaid, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, talking about your senior year. What a great year it's been so far. We wish you the best of luck going forward. We can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thanks for having me.
Zaid Atway, one of the big stars of that Canfield soccer team, doesn't get a lot of credit for what he does on the defensive side. You know, when you look at the postseason awards and the people that make first team conference, first team state, all that, it's the goal scorers, right? It's the ones that get the flashy stats, the ones that get the assists, the points, right? But the ones that are on the back line of that defense and help you so much in stopping the other team from scoring, Zaid's incredible at that. He leads that defense so well. Canfield's only given up a handful of goals this year, and they have 5 shutouts so far on the season. So, what can you say? I mean, Canfield's killing it right now on the soccer pitch, and we brought CJ Bako and Luke Davis on a couple of weeks ago, and they both said the same thing, that this Canfield program is just so good right now because they have so many athletes and so many great talented kids, and it's a lot of the senior class pulling them up. They have a couple of young players too, but these senior captains are just pulling them up, and we've talked to a couple of them. Once again, if you're a Canfield soccer fan, stay tuned the next couple days, maybe in a week. We will feature all the interviews that we got from the Canfield boys and have some fun with that, mix it around. We have a lot in the can that we can throw at you. Let's go into the scoreboard and check out what's going on tonight and give you a night preview on YSN and the YSN family. Bring up the scoreboard on the full screen, brought to you by Burnett Pool, Spas, and Hot Tubs. We're on Monday. Let's go to Tuesday, October 3rd. Ooh, we're in October. Starting to sink in that the warm weather is numbered, and we're going to start getting cold here pretty soon. But what I've heard from some very intelligent people in the meteorology field is that we could have a later start to winter than normal, and the El Nino pattern that we're in right now, and it could be, late November when we see our first snow. So fingers crossed for that. Any kind of late winter I'm okay with. Let's hold on to this warmth as much as possible, right? Tuesday, October 3rd, here we go. Here are the games that are happening tonight. Sebring is going to travel to Jackson Milton. A big one in the EOAC. Wellsville has a big matchup on Thursday with Columbiana, but it's only big if they can go down to Salineville and get a win in Southern. It's the only way it becomes a big matchup if Wellsville gets to win tonight. Otherwise, Columbiana could clinch actually the EOAC tonight with a win. If they win and Wellsville loses, that's it. One game left. Wellsville would be 2 games down. It would be over. Well, Columbiana tonight can clinch at least a share with a win. But if they win and Wellsville loses, that's it. Columbiana wins the EOAC. So it's a big one for Wellsville as they got to focus on the Indians in Southern tonight. Badger traveling to Ursuline. This is a sneaky, really good matchup, I think, in Ursuline. You got both double-digit win teams, both teams in the power rankings. Hannah Betts has been putting on a great season for Badger. So I think you got, and then, of course, Teresa Garano, who's been up for Big Dogs of the Valley, and Hannah Betts is up this week, too. Those nominees were just announced earlier this morning. But big matchup, I think, under the radar here between Badger and Ursuline and Youngstown. Crestwood traveling to Grand Valley today. Edgewood goes on to Lakeside. You have Madison going to Jefferson. Valley Christian going to East Palestine. Matthews will make the trip to Pymatuning Valley. Camel will go to Brookfield. It could be a big night for Camel because Carla Ramirez Ortiz is 18 assists away from 2,000 in her career. We saw her reach 1,500 earlier this year, and that 5-1 offense is excuse me. That 5-1 offense is flowing so well that Ramirez Ortiz is steadily climbing those ranks. We saw her break the record for most assists in a game last week that helped her expedite this 2,000 milestone. She had 49 assists last week in one match. She already has more assists than anybody's ever had in the program. She's going to shatter that record by the end of the season, and she could hit that 2,000 mark tonight in Brookfield. We are keeping an eye on that. Kendall Brunn and Angelise Diaz are both close to milestones too. They both are at the 900s for digs and kills. So not tonight unless they go. I mean, like they go off. Hey, you get like 85 kills or something like that. You could get to 100, 1,000. I mean, but as the season goes on, I think those girls are going to get pretty dang close to 1,000, if not get to it. So we're definitely keeping a close eye on milestones in Camel. Canfield going to go to Austintown Fitch. It is senior night in the Falcons Nest, and Canfield and Fitch you can never sleep on. Last time they played, it was a 4-set match, and then after Canfield won the second set, they had a 7-2 lead in the third set. They're trying to get healthy, steadily getting players back in that lineup, and they don't like Fitch. Fitch doesn't like them. It's a big rivalry in volleyball. It means a lot to both teams, and you're always going to get everyone's best volleyball when Fitch and Canfield get together. Columbiana is going to host Lisbon. As we said, this is a big one in the EOAC. If Columbiana wins, they clinch at least a share, unless Wellsville loses at Southern. Then Columbiana would clinch the outright EOAC championship. So we will definitely be watching the scoreboard tonight between the Clippers, the Blue Devils, the Indians, and the Tigers. Going to be a big night in the EOAC. Niles going to Struthers tonight, and that is the Wildcats senior night as well. Western Reserve traveling to Springfield. You got Champion going to Crestview. This is going to be one in the Rebel Dome as they continue to try to dominate the MVAC. They've only lost one set inside the conference ever. It was to Brookfield 2 years ago. St. John will host Cornerstone Christian in a big matchup for them. St. John still rolling on all cylinders. They got a matchup with Jefferson coming up soon, though, so that's looming for the Heralds. That'll be the biggest match of their season. Hubbard goes to Girard tonight, as Girard, you don't know if Brie Littell is going to be able to play. If she is, or if she isn't, either way, Girard needs this victory to make it a matchup on Thursday for the conference. This is the same thing. If Lakeview beats Poland, they'll clinch at least a share, but if Lakeview wins and Girard falls, then Lakeview would win outright. So we have two of those situations going on in the same conference. If both teams win, it's going to come down to Thursday in Lakeview. JFK coming off a big thrilling win over Badger last night. They will host Lake Center Christian tonight as well. Liberty goes to LeBray. Second matchup between those two teams. The Rockets of Louisville will travel to Waterloo as they try to gain another win. They're already at 6 now. After a tough start, they've had a good couple weeks, Louisville has, trying to build more momentum. Middle Ridge, this is a sneaky good matchup for the Rams, too. They're sitting at the top of the MVAC, tied with Western Reserve. But you got to watch out for a McDonald team that has really put it together. They had a little bit of a middle-of-the-season slump. But when I saw them play Crestview, they were really good. I mean, Crestview still won all 3 sets, but it was very competitive. They pushed the Rebels. When they got into their offense, McDonald was something to really struggle with. The problem for McDonald was serve receive. Middle Ridge is a very, very good serving team. So can McDonald find a way to make passes, get in their offense? If they do, if they consistently get in their offense, then this could be a really fun game in McDonald tonight between the Rams and the Blue Devils. Newton Falls is going to travel to Garrettsville Garfield tonight. MVAC matchup there. Poland goes to Lakeview. Once again, Lakeview wins. They will clinch at least a share of the NE8 crown. Salem goes to Boardman tonight in a non-conference matchup for both teams. Beaver Local going to host Steubenville. And last but not least, in volleyball, United goes to Latonia. We travel down to boys soccer. And we see that Grand Valley is going to travel to Conneaut. Badger going to be hosting Lordstown. The rivalry that means a lot to everybody in these communities, green versus red. It's West Branch versus Salem in Salem tonight. Boardman boys go to Austintown Fitch. A big rematch between Canfield and Howland. This is going to have a lot of AAC consequences on the line. Howland losing their first conference game since 2018 to Canfield earlier this season. Can they get revenge on the road in Canfield? Girard, they're going to host Hubbard tonight in boys soccer. Niles going to host Poland. South Range travels to Lakeview, and then United travels to Beaver Local. Beaver Local having a very good boys soccer season, but they're going to have to deal with Maddox Andrea and the Eagles. That's a big soccer matchup in Beaver Local tonight. Two really good teams going at it. Just 2 girls soccer games going on tonight. Edgewood traveling to Grand Valley, but then a big one at JFK as they can clinch the PTC with a win over Lake Center Christian. So, end of the season, no surprise that we got a couple of games that have big implications in conference play in every sport. We got a PTC championship on the line in girls soccer. We have probably the AAC championship on the line in girls soccer and boys soccer, with Howland and Canfield. And then we have a couple of league titles in the balance on volleyball with you got the NE8 with Lakeview and Girard both fighting, and then you have Wellsville and Columbiana both trying to set up a EOAC championship game on Thursday. So if the dice rolls the right way, you could have Thursday 2 league championships to close out the second to last week of the regular season. Before we get out of here, I want to go through the announcers, what's going to be on the network tonight, and who's going to be out there calling it for you guys. All right, we are on Tuesday, October 3rd. It's going to be a busy night for volleyball. We have 7 volleyball games on the network. Bob Zaney going to be in Jackson Milton as Sebring comes to town. We have Chris Sigler going to Southern for Wellsville versus Southern. We have Matt Marr and Jordan Barber going to Brookfield for that big one. This is a milestone watch for Campbell, and they'll both be there if that moment happens. I will be in senior night for Fitch and Canfield. Ty Bartel doing senior night at Struthers against Niles. We have Joe Eusebio going to Columbiana to do them versus Lisbon. And we have Eric Hughes going to Springfield to cover them versus Western Reserve. Girls soccer, CJ Bako will be at that JFK game where they can win the PTC with a win over Lake Center Christian. And then we do have one boys soccer game on the night, as the Beaver Local United game will be covered by Gary Burton down there for Beaver Local. So we got 7 volleyball games. We have 1 girls soccer matchup and 1 boys soccer matchup. That's 9 total games on the network tonight. Tell me, what do the other people have? Where some other games? Oh, yeah, that's right. 0 and 9 is better than 0 on every night. So make sure to tune in to ysnlive.com/live for all the fun action, whether you're a volleyball fan or a soccer fan. We have you covered tonight. That'll do it for today's episode of Running Point. Tomorrow is a fun Wednesday because we get Brian Tolnar back. He's done with his meetings at Mill Creek Park, so we're going to bring him on, talk about a couple of districts. I think every district should be done after today, if I'm not mistaken. So everyone's going to be qualified for state. We're going to talk about a lot of postseason golf tomorrow with Brian Tolnar. And Scotty Mitchell will also be in on the show, so we'll get what's on Scotty's mind. Wednesdays are always fun. You should never miss a minute of it. Make sure to tune in tomorrow from 1 to 2 here on Running Point. As always, we are brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Enjoy the evening. Enjoy all the sports. Ysn Live.